Hello, everyone. My name is Don, the movie reviewer, and today we're going to be reviewing one of my most anticipated movies of this year, Kathryn Bigelow's Detroit. I am a huge Kathryn Bigelow fan. She's made some really interesting movies. Like I would say, my most favorite movie from her is The Hurt Locker. That was my introduction to her. I wasn't aware that she directed the original Point Break movie until way later. But yeah, Hurt Locker is my favorite movie from her. Love that movie. It's intense. Then she went on to make Zero Dark 30, which I think is a very boring movie. I don't like that movie is because to me it's just boring. I'm not saying it's horrible as far as like the movie itself is concerned, it's like the storytelling aspect and the acting and all that. It's just I'm not interested. Um, and then she also made a movie that was interesting. It was written by James Cameron. She made Strange Days, which is a very interesting movie. The opening scene to that movie is fantastic. But yeah, I'm a huge Kathryn Bigelow fan, so I thought it would be interesting to see her direct this. Because you've seen her recent movies like Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30. You know that she's in this mode now of just like directing uh, stuff that's like based on true stories and just like really raw reality type of movies. And this one, I would say, is one of her most vicious movies ever.
Here in Detroit, a city of war. On the city's west side, a 150-block area is off limits to everybody. U.S. Army paratroopers, National Guardsmen, state and local police are continuing the fight against a handful of snipers.
Whoa, hey, y'all seen this?
Hey, look, we're not too far from the Algiers. Let's just go there till all this blows over.
I need you to survive the night.
You think we're bluffing? We don't bluff.
Kathryn Bigelow's Detroit is the account of an incident that occurred at the Algiers Motel during the Detroit riots in 1967. From everything that I have read, this movie is 99.5% accurate, according to one of the actual spectators present, Melvin Dismukes, who was portrayed by John Boyega in this film. I must admit that there were a lot of times when this movie made me upset. I thought it portrayed black people in a negative light and it looked at all of us as hooligans. What I mean is that there would be one character that I would like, but then all of a sudden the movie would shed them in a negative light and then I wouldn't like that character anymore. But I will say this. Not every character in this movie is a saint except John Boyega, but we'll get to him. I was mad at this movie at first because every single black person here was portrayed in a negative light. But then I realized that even the white characters here have negative aspects about them too. I'm not talking about police brutality itself because that's too easy. I'm talking about the characters themselves and the motives that they had for committing the acts that they did. They weren't squeaky clean, just like, a majority of the black characters in this movie. There's a clear villain in this movie who does all of the things you'd expect a villain to do. And I read that he was a fictional character that was created for the story in order not to incriminate the actual participants involved. That makes sense because this is such a delicate situation. It's tough to turn situations like this into a movie The key is, does the story need to be told? At first I said yes, but then I said no, and then I said I'm not sure. This isn't some situation where you review it as a movie. This is the type of thing you have to view as reality, because in reality, 3 boys were killed during the actual event that occurred at the Algiers Motel. Not knowing the actual events that took place at the Algiers Motel in 1967, judging this as a movie, it upsets me quite a bit. I'm mad at how blacks were portrayed in this film, but I'm happy that they gave at least one character an arc that I could latch on to amongst all of the chaos. This movie was a tough pill to swallow for me. I found most of the scenes to be very upsetting, intense, and disturbing. This movie doesn't let you go. It grabs onto you, and it doesn't let up. John Boyega sucks in this movie because his character does nothing. The only reason Boyega is here is that he was in Star Wars, and now he has a newfound popularity. His character is actually based off someone, but he's boring, he does nothing, and why is he here? This may have actually happened, but why would the police just let a security guard walk around the crime scene and help them out? Boyega's character is the audience. Everything we're supposed to see and feel is told from his character. Like, when something bad happens, he shows up as the cool guy. Even the movie throws that out there without a care in the world and says, yeah, you're the cool guy. I didn't like any of that stuff. Algiers Smith steals the show here. I absolutely loved his character. His character was flawed, but yet also likable. And there's one scene in particular where I thought his character summed up how people should be and how I view the world personally. It was my favorite scene in the movie, involving one scene that was the only piece of music during the beginning of this film. It was fantastic. Every other character was serviceable. They should have given more screen time to Jacob Lattimore's character because I feel like he just didn't get enough to do. I'm a child who grew up long after the high peak of racial tensions in the United States. I look at my life and I say, I don't know how good I really have it. I don't have to be in fear for my life every second. I don't have to be harassed when I'm walking in a white neighborhood. I don't have to get the evil stare from people when I walk into a room.
Light in the back, and the police he's covered. He killed my boyfriend. He's licensed. He's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet.
Who am I kidding? Just because I seem free doesn't mean that I am free. Freedom for Black people is an illusion. We may have fought and beat segregation, earning our civil rights, but the fight is not over because we may be free, but our freedom is limited. Overall, I give Kathryn Bigelow's Detroit an A. Give it a solid A. It couldn't have done any more than what it already did. I liked it. There was tension, it was disturbing, and it opened my eyes to the harsh reality that this country isn't as great as it thinks it is. So when I say that, I think, does this movie need to be told during times like this? I would say yes, because amongst all of the chaos, we must find love, because love is the most powerful weapon to bring people together. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Can I feel guilty after all the things they did to me? Sweated me, hunted me, trapped in my own community. One day I'm gonna bust, blow up on this society. Why did you lie to me? I couldn't find a trace of equality. Worked me like a slave while they laid back. Homie